What's going on, everybody? It's iSwune. Today I got a much requested tutorial for y'all, and that is how to set screens as a glass cleaner, and pretty much really for any position you want, how to just set screens more effectively. So I'm not gonna waste no time, get right into it. For me, how I see setting screens is, for me, it's like 5% physical and 95% mental. And I'll admit to y'all, screening is probably one of the weaker areas. It's probably one of my weaker areas as a glass cleaner, but I'm working through it. I'm working to get better, and I'm gonna show y'all what I've been doing to effectively set screens that you've been seeing in some of my videos or in my streams. So like I said, it's like probably even less than 5% physical. What do I mean physical? The stick skills. What are you doing? You're hitting square, you're holding square, what am I talking about? Holding circle if you are on PS4, B if you're on Xbox One, don't know what it is for Switch, and pretty much just running up trying to set the screen. My tip for just the stick skill of it is, I don't know what it is with 2K, but for some reason I know a lot of people have been having an issue. I have it too, to where you hold B and like your player will face the exact opposite of where you want the screen. It's totally random. So what I do is I make sure to use the left analog stick to make sure the body of my character is facing the way that I want the screen to be, or facing pretty much the defender, so I can screen them. And also, I don't typically run up, stop, and set the screen, because for some reason that's when I personally have issues with the whole where is his body facing type of thing. So what I do is I generally like to kind of not run up, that's not sprint up, but I like to be on the move and then kind of get into the position of setting the screen while I'm moving. So it's not I'm set and then, you know, hit the circle button to set the screen, but I'm kind of moving into the position that I want it for the screen to be. And this gameplay right here that you see, and it's not necessarily the most exciting gameplay, but I do set a lot of screens in this game, so you can see what I'm saying. So that's really it. That's really it in terms of just stick skills. You know, you're just using your left analog stick to position your player and holding circle to set the screen. Y'all should know this. Y'all want to know is like the mental. What do I mean by mental? A lot of it when I screen is strategy. I'm thinking, you know, 2 seconds ahead, and basically where do I want my guard to be after I set the screen. That's a lot of what I'm thinking. That's what you're gonna see in this gameplay too. A lot of the screens, the way that I set them, I'm trying to, it's actually, let me put it to you like this. Let me actually take a step back and say that if you're having issues with screening, I'm not gonna lie, a lot of it isn't necessarily your fault as a screener. If you're playing with a lot of random point guards, a lot of point guards don't know how to take screens, as hard as it is. You'll set the perfect screen and for some reason they'll run the opposite way and you won't get your screen. And then for some reason they'll yell at you saying, oh, why ain't you screaming? You didn't know how to use the screen. So a lot of these issues will be resolved if you play with a good point guard, or if you pretty much who knows how to take screens. Because the difference between when I play with randoms and when I'm playing with a squad with, you know, a good point guard, they know how to take a screen. So that might be one of your issues. But what I do pretty much, no matter what, just mentally, I'm trying to figure out where I want the guard or whoever is the ball handler, where do I want them to be? So this is in your way. You can be like, you can control, you're like the chess master, if you get what I mean. You can control where people go, you know, with the ball or without the ball if you're setting off ball screens. So when I'm screening, I want to screen for one, I'm trying to, you know, get them, the ball handler, into as much open space as I possibly can. So if everyone's bunched up, which will happen a lot if you're playing with randoms, let's say they're bunched up on the left side of the court, you know, okay, let me set a screen on the right, so you know that ball handler can have all of that space, and if they're a shot creator, they're gonna have a whole bunch of space to pull up, and you get, you know, that screen to go. And brick wall, Hall of Fame brick wall is your best friend, because a lot of, also say this, hopefully, I don't know if you are a pure glass cleaner, you do get this brick wall Hall of Fame, or if you're not, you definitely want to get it gold if you are a center. Hall of Fame brick wall will help a lot, because if the defender doesn't have pick dodger, they're gonna get sucked into your screen and you're gonna be a lifesaver, because you're pretty much just gonna eat that defender. So, and then I guess the other tip that I do have, this is a hard video, I'm not gonna lie to you, it's a hard video because a lot of the screening is kind of, you know, second nature, you really don't think about it. But I think the biggest tip that will help a lot of you all is when you do screen, you want a tight seal, right? What do I mean by a tight seal? As tight as you possibly can. Like I said, a lot of this is based on whoever the ball handler is too. You want to set the screen, and you pretty much want to hope that the ball handler will pretty much kind of breeze your body. That's what I mean by a tight seal. You don't want the screen to whereas, you know, between you and the guard or whoever's controlling the ball, you don't want there to be a lot of space. Because a lot of the issues that I've had in the past is if there is a lot of space between me and the ball handler, that screener, the defender can anticipate the screen and they can just go above or, you know, below it. And, you know, zigzagging is huge in this game. And they're just going to zigzag around, and you're not going to hit anybody on the screen. So what you want to do is when you set your screen, you want to be as close to your guard as possible to create that tight seal. And when they go around you, they're going right next to you, and you'll be eating that person alive every time with your screen. If you want to do that back and forth crab, you know, you have that tight seal, so you'll be hitting them on the screen every single time. So that last tip, I'm not gonna lie to y'all, is probably my biggest tip, right? I told y'all how to do it physically with the buttons, and the fact that I try not to just hit circle when I'm standing, because the way my body rotates is really, really weird. But what I try and do is I try and run into kind of, not a moving screen, but you want to kind of run in and set the screen. Whenever I do that, the body of where I'm trying to hit the screen, generally for the most part, they do hit, you know. I do get to where I want to go, pretty much is what I'm saying. And then anticipation, you know, where do you want your guard to be after you set the screen? And when you think like that, you'll be able to position yourself for a specific type of screens. Like I said, you can play, if you're a screener, you can pretty much play chess with everybody on the court, which is pretty cool. And then also creating that tight seal to whereas that point guard won't, your defender won't go around you just because there's too much space. You know, you want to cut up the floor, you want there to be as little space as possible for your defender to actually, you know, try and get around you. And if you implement these, in my opinion, you will be better at setting screens. But like I said before, a lot of this isn't necessarily your fault as a center or as a glass cleaner or whatever. It's these point guards out here who do not know how to take screens. For whatever reason, they decide they don't want to take screens. So don't beat yourself up if you're not hitting your screens, if you have point guards yelling at you because you can't screen. Just let it go. Use my tips from what I've been doing to set better screens. And at least on your end, you can hold up your end of the bargain and you can become an effective screen setter. So that's all the tips that I have for you today. Pretty much, I'm trying to keep this as concise as possible. What I think I'm doing to pretty much be as good as a screen setter as I am right now. If you have anything else, man, drop it down below in the comments. I'd love to hear it. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. We got glass cleaner tips, tricks, tutorials, gameplay coming up for the Horizon and NBA 2K19. Like, comment, and subscribe. Of course, it's iSwune. I'll catch you in my next video.